Hey everyone, it's Darby from Blue Television Games. Welcome to the 1 hour 10 item challenge episode 9 subscriber levels. There were more than 80 levels submitted. I'm going to show you every single level, but since there is so many, this will be broken up into multiple videos. The 10 items you were allowed to use were question mark blocks, mushrooms, semi-solid platforms, pipes, chain chomps, bill blasters, munchers, POW blocks, coins, vines, and as always, you'll get ground and checkpoints. Alright, the first level for today is Blue Television Games 10 item 1 hour challenge 9. I really liked how you used these semi-solid platforms here. Look like 3 big columns holding everything up. And the layering here looks nice as well. The way you have this dirt kind of looking stuff crossed looks really nice. It repeats the other semi-solid there. These vines all look great. And I like how there's 2 different routes here. Since I had the cape, I decided I would go ahead and fly up and see what was going on up here. The munchers coming out of the pipes, the way you had it, definitely reminded me of Super Mario Bros. 3 World 7 a little bit. The munchers definitely go great with pipes. A lot of people put the chain chomps into the bill blasters. It definitely makes them quite a bit of a hard enemy to dodge. They just come flying out of there. I thought this was pretty cool, how you had to keep waiting for the POW blocks. And then you slowly get the bill blasters down to where they can't hit you. Sort of like a little mini boss battle. Just enough room to fly there, but you were pretty smart about how you made the ceiling come down, so you couldn't just fly past everything. And then we reached the goal and finished the level. Definitely really liked the look of your level. I love how you designed like the flowers there at the end. Just lots of little details that made it shine. Definitely had a lot of fun with this one. Next up, we have 10 item challenge for Darby. This one comes from the cube. Once again, some nice layering here. You overlap semi-solids, you can really come up with some cool designs. I like the good use of coins here to kind of help you hop across the gap. I didn't really follow them very close, but it still gave me a good idea of how far of a gap I had. Always gotta love checkpoints. This series has taken me so much time, so checkpoints really save a lot. Always appreciate that as usual. I like how you use these semi-solids that are in the lava. And you put a couple blocks down there towards the bottom of them. It looked really nice. Sometimes I just like looking for secrets. The cape is such a useful power-up. Being able to drift down and smack most of the enemies away works really nice, makes it a bit easier. The way you put the fences up here looks great as well. Wasted my POW block there. Probably would have been useful to use that against the chain chomps. I got really lucky on that jump that I didn't fall into the lava. This was probably the trickiest part of your stage. Took me a couple tries to get it, but basically you just had to make kind of little jumps. I have a habit of always holding run and making big leaps, and it didn't really work well for me in this section, so I had to kind of jump a little bit different than I typically do. I thought this area looked really crazy, kind of like back near the beginning. So I like the use of repetition and the repeated semi-solid platforms here. It looks really nice. Just enough room to fly with the cape, and you can get to the end of the level. Smack those 2 chain chomps out of the way. So another really well designed course. Definitely enjoyed this one as well. Alright, next up we have Chain Chomp Derpers. 10 items. This little section looked really cool. I always love having the frog suit amiibo. This part, at this point of recording, I was being so impatient, so I always end up rushing through the munchers and losing my frog suit costume. Skinny mushroom's always interesting. I always forget to use it in my levels when I make them. Just funny how changing the mechanics slightly can make the game feel so different. This part was definitely challenging. There was just so many chain chomps. The loose ones seemed like a bit much more than was needed. I also got stuck by jumping too high here, which really stunk because you can't start from the checkpoint after you restart. So you definitely want to be careful when doing semi-solids like that. I actually thought the spam of all those arrows in that last section looked kind of cool. Kind of like an arrow background. Some of these parts, it was really hard not to take a hit. There was just so many enemies. I think you got just a little bit carried away with the amount of enemies on the screen at some points. But with that said, these sections look really great. I like the repetition of all the semi-solids down there. You switch it up to the bones, it gives it a different feel. Kind of makes you feel like you're getting to a new section, which it is. It's the boss fight at the end. Take out all the chain chomps on the bridge and finish the level. Definitely a good level, just a little bit of enemy spam here and there, but you stuck to, given the nature of the challenge, just a few enemy types, so it still felt really good. Next up, we have 1 hour 10 item challenge 2 from Evan. This is one of those levels where you have to backtrack a little bit here and there. If I remember correctly. Once you get the POW block, you can knock that muncher out, so you can continue on here. Some good use of vertical area there. I like when you have to go up and down in levels, as I've mentioned multiple times. I just think it's really cool to use that vertical space. A lot of people don't do that. That power up I didn't understand, because when you activate it, it just gets crushed by the chain chomp. I wasn't sure if that was a mistake or just a way of saying, haha, you can't have your power up. I gotta say, chain chomps are one of the scariest enemies in this game. But they're a lot scarier back in Mario 3 when you couldn't spin jump. I got slightly confused at this part on where I was supposed to go. I was just double checking all the pipes there. And, you know, I just did a blind jump down there and found the exit. I almost started going back towards the left. So the end of the stage, definitely a little bit confusing. I don't know if you did that on purpose or not, but it just wasn't super obvious where to go. Maybe some coins to lead you would have helped a little. Next up, we have 1 hour 10 item challenge for BTG. I edited out a lot of deaths on this one. This one was pretty tricky. It was just a little bit tough to get down here. You actually have to go through this bottom section first. And it's pretty easy to get hit by a lot of these munchers. Once you make it through this whole section, you can hit this POW block, which opens up a gate from that black bill blaster up there. Once I get back up here and I traverse this section, you still have to not get hit because you don't have a power-up. That's what made this section a little bit hard. But luckily, once you finally get it right, you get a checkpoint right away, so I think that's a really well-placed checkpoint. It did take me quite a few tries to make it to that checkpoint. Probably like 3 or 4 at least. Just a little bit tricky. I love this section. I think it's really cool how you got to use the bill blasters to get across the munchers. And then you have these over sections where you got to dodge enemies, but you got to keep up with them so that way you can continue on. Definitely one of my favorite sections of all the levels. I thought that was really well put together. It looks nice and it's just really fun to play through. Here's another area that's really nicely decorated. And I like creative stuff like this because it's like a whole new way to dodge chain chomps. You know, just you got to be quick, wait for the chain chomps to come out, and then race across before the next one comes out. Once you get past that tough little section, you get the goal at the end, finish the level. Definitely another great course. Next up, we have Woof and Munch Castle. Another thing that I say all the time is the new Super Mario Bros. U style castle themed levels always look great. And this one actually tripped me up. I didn't figure this out right away. But eventually I figured out you needed to stomp on the chain chomp post. That way you could get the chain chomps to run away. It actually makes their post disappear in this style. That way you could activate the other vines. In this particular playthrough, I decided I was going to hop onto the munchers anyways, so not sure why I didn't activate that other vine. I love little hidden secrets like this. You have to use wall jumps to find these blocks, which you can find this little hidden POW block. Once you use that POW block here, it makes it a little bit easier to get the power up. Of course, I lose it right away by taking a chain chomp to the face. Those bill blasters really shoot those chain chomps out quick. It's pretty hard to dodge them. There's another little creative use of chain chomps where you have to spin across. And the way you stacked them, it kept them from moving around, which is really cool. Another stage that uses the vertical space in the levels really nicely. Gotta love checkpoints. I like this little checkered area back there with the ground pieces and the semi-solids in the background. That looked really cool as well. Gave plenty of power-ups, so this level was definitely had some tricky spots, but it wasn't too overly difficult. This section also features great use of vertical space. I thought this was really creative because each time you smack a POW block, it opens up the next one. You can continue on. And once again, the repetition from earlier in the level where you have to hit the question mark blocks to make the vines come down. I love stuff like that. It just really makes it feel like an authentic level. Traditional style levels are just really fun for me, so I always appreciate when, you know, it's more like a realistic Mario level, just as much as I appreciate a really creative, unique, new idea as well. I love getting a mix of both those things, you know, something brand new to the series, and I also like the classic feel, something that could be in an actual Mario game, so great job on this one as well. Alright, this one's 1 hour 10 item challenge 9 cave. Just for the heck of it, I tried going in the pipe right at the beginning. Thought it might be a little secret dev route to the end, which it wasn't, but it was a cool little bonus area, so I still thought that was really cool. It does give you a POW block too, which could come in handy. Once you get to this point, you can't really take the POW block with you. Sadly, I was kind of hoping it would get me past an obstacle or puzzle. This part's still really cool. I like the random vines placed between the pipes, and then you have the chain chomps falling out, so definitely a cool and unique obstacle to dodge there. The arrows do a pretty good job of leading you around so you can figure out what you're supposed to do next. This part's a little tricky because you have to carry the POW block and dodge chain chomps. But he also has an endless supply of mushrooms, or actually, I guess 3 would come out of the bill blasters. So it gives you a few chances to get your power up back in case you get hit. Once you get back over, you can take out that muncher and continue on. Checkpoint, checkpoint, checkpoint. I love checkpoints. That's all I have to say about that. Using the chain chomp to get across munchers once again. This time he just uses where you have to do a spin jump to get across. That part tripped me up once. I like how the challenge gets a little harder. He makes the chain chomp smaller, so it's a smaller target, a little bit harder to spin across. I like the repeated question mark blocks with pipes. I decided to come back to get the power up before I continued on. But here once again, I like these angled pipes with the question mark blocks. That looks really cool how it's repeated there. This down here ends up being one of the final challenges. Of course, I got bit by the chain chomp and died. I knew I needed the power blocks up top, but I thought I'd take out a chain chomp, make it a little bit easier. And I'm glad he only put 2 here, because this little part where you have to go up and back down, I think a couple times was plenty. Made that part last a little bit longer and challenging, but it wasn't too overly done. That part was pretty cool because you got those munchers slowly coming out. So you really need to hurry up and get to the top. Here we get our last checkpoint of the level. And he places this in a pretty good spot as well because there's this tricky little boss battle here. It's actually not that hard once you figure it out. My approach in this particular part of the video was a little bit off. I should have stayed over with the mushroom and the POW block for most of this battle. If you got that endless power up, you might as well stay over there so you can keep grabbing it. And you can throw the POW block pretty far, so I really didn't need to go so far over with it each time. That's pretty much what my downfall was there. Once you take out that final muncher, it's actually covering up the top of the flagpole, and you can finish the level. Another great level. It was very fun to play this one as well. Next up we have 1 hour 10 item challenge BTG. I always love pixel art that has a shout out to the channel. I appreciate that. Here he designed these cool little bill blasters with the question mark blocks wrapped around. They almost look like giant flowers. This one starts off with a checkpoint pretty early on. There's background elements here with the dips in the ground look really cool. I just am a sucker for repetition, so I always think stuff like that looks great. And this part tripped me up because I didn't realize what exactly I was supposed to do here. As you'll see in a second, I'm basically just wasting valuable playtime here. As you hop through here crouch jumping, you get pretty much stuck right about here when you realize that as Super Mario, you're never going to fit through here. So basically I just missed the tiny detail that I was actually supposed to take a hit here and then go through the maze. I actually think if you're going to do a maze, you need to make a section where you can kill yourself. You definitely don't have to start over. I had to start the level completely over. Checkpoints don't mean anything if, you know, I would have to wait for time to run out so I could die or whatever. There was a muncher in the one section, so I could have actually killed myself there. Once you figure out the right path, though, you can go through here. Some of these jumps are still pretty tricky, even in the right path. Once you get through, you can finally finish the level. Never a huge fan of mazes like that. Because I just don't like the fact that if you take the wrong path, you know, you're pretty much game over. Other than that, I thought the level was really great. Next up, we have 1 hour 10 item challenge 9, a puzzle of power. The fact that we had POW blocks and munchers definitely gave opportunity for some good puzzles. Most of the time I played this, I wasn't able to get to this spot right away. So I'm not sure what I did different on this exact playthrough. I definitely got a little bit lost on this level a few times. I do think you had a good design though with it. You used the semi-solids in a unique way, how those little poles hang down. It almost looks like there's pipes coming out of the ceiling. I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't mean to throw that POW block there. Kind of hoping to use them as stairs. Not sure if I just wasn't holding the grab button quite right or what happened there, but second time's a charm, so once we get that POW block down, we have 2 of them now. We can make a little bit of a stepping stool here to get up to this pipe. And we have a checkpoint, which is awesome, especially in puzzle levels, because you don't want to have to redo stuff you've already beaten. I tried to save that POW block, I just didn't quite pull it off right. Few people use the bill blasters sinking into the lava. I think it always looks cool, and it's definitely adds some intensity to the level as you gotta rush before they sink. This part tripped me up quite a few times. Eventually I got it right though. I thought it was cool that you actually end up in a room that had the 10 items. Definitely pretty clever. Would have loved to see a 1-up in that question mark block. Would have been a nice little bonus. I was definitely a bit confused at this point. I thought I had a couple options. I could throw the POW blocks and knock all these out. And there's 2 blocks down there I could hop across. Instead, I decided to make a little bridge across these munchers, which I thought worked just as well. Really, there's so many POW blocks coming out of these pipes that you really have a lot of options. Once again, another checkpoint, which is always awesome. There's definitely a few parts at this point I wouldn't have wanted to redo. Once again, this is a section where I was a little bit lost for a while. Took me a while to really figure out what I was supposed to do here. Those chain chomps look really cool when they hit that platform down there too. Sometimes it looks like they kind of spin in a little spiral at the end. It's really cool. Once again, I was a little lost on where I was supposed to be going and what I was supposed to be doing. Eventually, I decided to go just a little farther right, and I figured that I was probably supposed to take all these munchers right here and go into this pipe. Definitely a little tricky to dodge. I think the real key to it was to just take my time a little more and wait for him to shoot out and then make a move. Cool thing about this setup is you have to keep going back to get another POW block, so you actually have to dodge these same group of enemies quite a few times. Eventually you can figure out all the right places to stand so you won't actually get hit. A lot of work for that one little part though, so it kind of stinks that you can't do 3 checkpoints. I jumped there and that giant chain chomp came out and got me, but the second time through that I knew to spin jump there and I was able to finish the level. Definitely a cool little boss fight at the end. Alright, next up we have 2 become 1. I think whenever people use a lot of arrows, I always feel slightly confused. But for the most part, this ended up being more straightforward than I expected. I did run into a problem here, where each of these question mark blocks has a vine, including the one up there to the left. If you climb that one, you actually get above the semi-solid platform and you get stuck. So that was definitely a little issue that probably needs fixed. I like that little falling section with all the pipes there. The ship's actually decorated really cool. I think the netting looks really nice, how you have it in the background. And the placement of the boxes and everything. It definitely feels like you're on a massive ship here. Once again, here's a section where you could jump too high and get stuck on top of a semi-solid. Just make sure you close in the top when you use semi-solids all the way to the ceiling. Now we have another situation where we gotta get by some munchers. Luckily you include a checkpoint here in case you screw it up. Had to check the pipe, see if I could go up there. Of course I can't. Eventually I figured out you had to spin there to get that. Definitely a smooth jump over the munchers. I figured I'd take a hit there, but got lucky with my jumping. I like the use of spin jumping on the chain chomps to get through different sections of the level. I thought it was cool you reused that in a few spots. Alright, next up we have 1 hour 10 item 9 Chomp Castle from Rudy. Rudy. What do you got for me, man? Chain Chomp looks pretty cool sitting on that box over there. I like the little hole in the ground there with the munchers down below. That looks cool as well. Kind of hard to get past that Chain Chomp without getting hit. I like how you stocked the boxes there, so you had to kind of traverse it left or right to get down and through it. The double Bowser statues on each end there, just little details like that always make levels really nice. I like when people use the background elements for some extra decoration for sure. Checkpoints always make me happy, so I definitely appreciate that. This section was pretty hard. These jumps are a little tricky, and as soon as you jump, you got a chain chomp trying to kill you. So it's a little hard to get through there without getting hit as well. He seemed to go really fast right from the start. The timing of the chomps would line up to where they weren't near you when you'd make each jump. Using the coins to guide people is always nice. Here I decided to go for this secret pipe up here, which ended up not being a secret pipe, but just a different way to get around here. Not sure why I was thinking there was a secret pipe up there. But then again, I've played a lot of levels in the past week, so yeah, I get a little confused sometimes. Alright, once we take them out, we can jump up, go through the pipe. This section's a little tough as well. It's all in the timing. I decided to wait for the chomps to kind of go at you once and then make my way across. Mario goes across vines pretty slow, but luckily the chomps focus on you and they kind of don't even really attack anywhere near you. I played enough time to know that all those question blocks were coins and which one was the mushroom. Get that little pal there. Jump across. Some nice coins to guide us across these gaps. I believe I died in this section at one point as well. And I'm pretty sure you have to take a forced hit here at the end. I don't know if you just wanted me to be small Mario for this next section or what. A little triangle of munchers at the end. We can jump across, collect the axe, and finish the level. Alright, next we have 1 hour 10 item challenge from Jacob. A lot of people end up using bill blasters to get across big gaps like that, but I think it's always really fun and satisfying to hop on a bullet bill and hop across a big gap like that. You made the jump here a little bit tricky, but I like the risk-reward factor. In order to get that mushroom, you gotta take the chance of making this low, weird jump and bouncing up. Once we get up here, the bouncing off a bill blaster, or a bullet bill, is repeated. Semi-solids were placed pretty nice there, that if you missed up a little bit, you can actually still save yourself from falling all the way back down to the bottom. Checkpoints, 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 people, I love it. These jumps were a little tricky not to get hit by the munchers. I like the repetition here though with the semi-solids and the munchers there. Although this was a pretty cool boss fight. I like that you that you actually had to hit the munchers dead on to take a lot of them out. Good use of the bill blasters here for this boss fight for sure. Even though it has the endless supply of power-ups, this part's still pretty tricky, and it still feels rewarding when you finally take out enough of the munchers to get across here. I almost blew it a couple times by getting hit by a bullet bill. All you have to do is bounce off one just right, and you can land on the axe and finish the level. Another great level. It's going to be really hard to pick my top 10 favorites this time around. There's just so many great courses throughout. Next up, we have 10 items, 1 hour, chew and pow. This level was definitely very hard. This wall jump here is, you gotta be really exact to make it. You can see it's really easy to accidentally fall into the lava here. Definitely the hardest part of the level was making this one little weird wall jump at that part. Once I finally got it, I was so disappointed there wasn't a checkpoint right here. There's something about the way that wall jump was lined up was really tricky for me. I thought some of this layout looked pretty cool with the munchers, and the ground pieces and the vines mixed together. I love seeing so many people use semi-solid platforms a lot more. It just makes levels look a lot nicer, gives them more characteristic, or more character and more style. I apologize for my voice kind of cutting in and out, clearing my throat a lot, but definitely having a bad allergy day here. Been a long day today. And once again, I decided to go ahead and finish up the levels I had recorded today. There's still probably 20 some levels I haven't played yet. I'm gonna start working on those tomorrow on my lunch break. So if your level hasn't appeared in a video yet, it's because I just haven't gotten to it. But I will play it very soon. I'm gonna be playing and showing all the levels that were submitted. There's been quite a few impatient people, but most of you understand that this isn't my full-time job, so sadly I can't just work on YouTube videos all day. I literally use all my free time to do it though. I'm trying my best to keep everybody happy. Just try to be patient. Once again though, great use of semi-solid platforms in this level. Like these little POW block sections. You gotta traverse, one direction, come back. Hit something with a POW block. Always fun to use the propeller suit. Not that many people include it in their levels because it's easy to break a level with it. You did a pretty nice job of making it to where people can't just fly through your whole level with the propeller suit. I actually could have got through here a little bit earlier, but I was determined to kill all those munchers for whatever reason. Once you get through there, you can actually abuse the propeller suit a little bit here. I decided to go against the pipe and just go ahead and go with the coins. Once you get all the coins, you can go through this pipe here and finish the level. Well, I guess you can't finish it yet. There's a little bit more to the level than I remembered. Sorry about that again. But now we are at the end of the level. Now we can take out all the munchers. Mario still has his propeller suit and he's able to get out of the castle and finish it up. Definitely another fun level. Next up we have 1 hour 10 item challenge 9, Chained Fortress. This one was cool because those chain chomps are coming down pretty fast, and you really got to be quick with the POW blocks. And you got to take out at least one of them there with that POW block just right. You got to have good timing. I died on this a few times where the chain chomp just caught up to me too quick and took me out. These overlaid pipes look pretty cool. I thought this section had a pretty cool idea, but I wish it was half as tall as it is. I felt like I was stacking power blocks for way too long at this section. You'll see what I mean as you watch. You have to jump so high that you actually have to make a couple rows of power blocks. I do like that you use the layering the pipes trick here. That way you could have kind of an endless supply of power blocks. There's just so many power blocks coming out of these pipes. Kudos for not putting, you know, an enemy down here like a dry bones or something. Would have been pretty frustrating to have to dodge something the whole time you're doing this, because it is pretty tedious already. I do like that you have to make your own little ladder to get up here. Probably plenty tall enough now. I just think I got a little bit carried away here with it. And once you get up there, it's actually pretty easy. I stacked a little bit more power blocks than needed. It wasn't quite as tedious as I thought it was going to be. And this part has that little hidden pipe there, which is pretty interesting. And another checkpoint, which is fantastic. I don't have to redo anything up to that point, which is always really, really a relief. I do like how he hid some pipe entrances and exits in this. The hidden exit was up there where those two pipes connected. Definitely a little tricky. This takes you to the axe. I love the little heart with the coins. I thought that was really cool. Alright guys, well, another great batch of levels this episode. There's plenty more levels to come. I believe I still have over 20 to go. So stick around, there'll be more episodes of this coming. If your level wasn't shown yet, it will be soon. Till next time, see you around.